everybody, it's Craig here, Reviews for You. Alright, so we've got our numbers in for yesterday's opening. We also have some international numbers where it's been open for 2 days. So we'll go through some of that today, and like I said, they're going to spin these numbers as much as they can spin them. And I'll be honest with you, boy, they're going to get you seasick. I mean, honestly, the way they're trying to spin these numbers. It broke box office records for the opening last night. For a Memorial Day weekend opening. Which is just like saying it broke box office records for a June the 3rd at 7 p.m. when it was raining outside. I mean, it pulled in $14 million domestically last night across the country. $14 million. If you do that by 4,382, which is how many theaters, that's a very abysmal opening. I'm just being honest. That's a very abysmal opening. Now it's been in 43 countries, showing for 2 days, and it's 11.4 million after 2 days in 43 countries. And that's horrible. Now, if you want to take the opening and you want to compare it to something real, you can compare it to Rogue One, which had 50 million less of a budget. And remember now, Solo is the highest budgeted Star Wars film ever. Ever. So, Rogue One Thursday night premiere was twice 28.6 million opening for a Thursday night. And although domestically it did better than it did internationally, which normally internationally would help out and help the domestic sales, this is what we really need to track it to. You can't really compare it because they compared it to Thor Ragnarok. You can't compare this to Thor Ragnarok. This movie right here is not going to make as much money as Ragnarok, period. You can't compare it to which Deadpool did 4.5 more million in the Thursday night premiere, and it's an R-rated film, which means less people can actually go see it. You following me here? It's not looking good. I went ahead and checked for pre-sales for tonight. They haven't changed since yesterday. They haven't. If you wanted to go see this movie around here, you don't have to buy a ticket. You could just go. It's going to open in 9 more countries today, and out of those 9 countries, 8 of them are major markets. 1 is not. So this weekend should be a really this is going to tell you. I'm still sticking with my number. I'm sticking with it. I don't think it's going to bust 110 million, which is a pretty pathetic opening for a 4-day weekend. And I may be wrong. I was wrong on Deadpool, but not by much. I thought Deadpool would actually do better than it did, but actually Deadpool has pulled in $60 million through this week. That's pretty good. Remember, it's an R-rated film, so the kids can't go see it unless mom and dad takes them. So not as many people can go see it because it's an R-rated film. So it's pulled in $60 million during the week. So you add that to the 125.5, and it's already, this thing's going to be well over 230 million by the end of the weekend. It's going to do probably another 85 million this weekend for the second week, for being out second week, which is actually pretty good. The international numbers haven't come out on it yet, but All right, so we're gonna get back to Solo. Solo and Rogue One. Those are the two that we can really compare together. Because The Last Jedi, if you even try to compare it to it, it's gonna be a failure. The Last Jedi was horrible. I mean, it's a crappy film. Um, and it did 700 million overseas and 600 million domestically. And still barely made any money. This thing's not gonna make nowhere near 1.3 billion. Nowhere near it. Rogue One made 800 million, but it had a $200 million budget. Plus, it also had, according to Variety, it had a $150 million advertising budget. They didn't put a lot of advertising into Rogue One. Now, it seemed like there was a lot of advertising in Rogue One, but there really wasn't. The promotional items weren't there. There's a lot of things that go into the advertising portion of it. The promotional items really weren't there for Rogue One, as they are for Solo. So any theater you go in, there's a big, humongous thing that they've sent the movie theater that they put up and everything. All right, so that goes into the advertising budget, and you do that just domestically to almost 4,400 theaters. Those things aren't cheap. You got the design of it, the print of it, the shipping of it, the making of it. It's extremely costly, and then the commercial advertising is extremely costly too. And you have to figure that's globally where they're doing all this advertising and everything else. The strongest opening for any other Star Wars movie would be in the UK. So I'm waiting to see what the UK numbers are going to be. I'm still not going to go see Solo again. I mean, I have seen it, and it is extremely irritating. And it's not that I don't like Ehrenreich as Solo. I mean, he's not the Han Solo we know, but it's just the film is just boring. It's predictable. It's the next scene coming up. I mean, you just know the next scene coming up all the time. And there were two good things about Solo. One was when the movie ended, and two is there wasn't a big mess of traffic to deal with when I left the theater. That was the two things good about Solo. So we'll see. So 11.4 million is what it's done in 43 different countries after 2 days. 2 days internationally. And there's only 9 more countries for it to be released in. What does that sound like to you? Does that sound good to you? Sound like good numbers to you? Like I said, they're going to spin these numbers to make it sound like this thing's really doing well, and it's not. It's not. Rogue One pulled in, I think 580, almost 600 million internationally. I'm sorry, 523 million internationally. I got my notes sitting right here to the side, so I don't forget anything. But anyway, 11.1 or 11.4 million internationally after 2 days, 14 million last night through 4,280 theaters. I don't call that a success, especially not for a Star Wars story, or which all these Origins movies that they're coming out with. I mean, really. Do you want to know the origin of Jaws? Do you want to know what Roy Scheider did before he became the chief of police in Amity, and before the sharks started, before Jaws came along and started attacking people? No, I really don't. I don't care how he got there. So this is the stuff that we have to deal with. Boba Fett, another origin story. And I like Boba Fett, but I mean, what are you going to get in an origin story? How he became one? I mean, that's extremely predictable. Anyway, that's it for today. I'm Craig. Reviews for you. Brutally honest reviews. And more than likely we'll have our 200th subscriber today, because right now I think we're only around 20 away from reaching 200. So as soon as I get that, I will put that in there, and I will post up the winner of the lightsaber from Return of the Jedi, and I will get them to message me their address, and I will get it all packed up, shipped out, and when you get it, make a video of it. That way we can share it, get it out there, get our message out there. My little shot at Ryan Johnson the other day on Twitter is doing pretty good. There's so many people that have loved that remark where I told him it's been 6 months since you released that abomination, The Last Jedi. So, with all that being said, we'll see y'all. I am out of here.
Well, Dick, here's the deal. I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence, and nobody can hang with my stuff. You know, I'm just a big, hairy American winning machine. If you ain't first, you're last.